Last time on Bluelock Season 2, through a glimpse into Rin's turbulent past with his older brother, Itoshi Sai, we get a clearer picture of the source of Rin's determination and grit. The second half is about to begin as Shido finally makes his way onto the pitch. Stay tuned for an action-packed thriller in episode 10. The episode kicks off with a little reunion between Rin and Shido, where the pair exchange some pleasant words with each other as usual. At the same time, Asagi realizes that the game would change drastically now with Shido's inclusion. Reflex, flow, or whatever he would have to rely on, brimming with determination, Asagi vows to end up on the score sheet no matter what. The second half is finally underway, as Shido makes it clear right from the start he was going to be playing his way, even if he had to go against his own teammates. Sai and Shido execute a problematic synergy between each other right from the get-go, kind of like how Rin and Isagi operate, and with Sendo also chipping in to provide assistance, their attack grows even stronger. Sendo's pass lands right in Rin's zone as he blasts the ball as soon as he makes contact. It's a curling pass, headed right for Shido, who wastes no time taking flight in order to ready himself for a monstrous volley. However, before Devil Boy has a chance to go through with it, Nico, who had predicted this outcome already thanks to his exceptional vision, fouls Shido midair. This decision lands Nico a yellow card, although it also saved them from a goal. Shido gets ready to pounce at Nico for fouling him, but gets stopped by Sai, who advises him to focus on the game instead of throwing his career away over a mere skirmish. Meanwhile, Nico breaks down the newest threat to them, which was Sendo's part in the Sai-Shido dynamic. By changing his playstyle to accommodate Sai and Shido, Sendo was proving to be a tough read even for someone with perception abilities as sharp as Nico's. Getting up, Nico experiences a sharp pain in his ankle, but insists he is fine and will continue playing, as despite not making it as a striker, he has started to like having the power to crush them instead. It's the under-20s free kick, which Shido believes he should take, as his foul landed them the free kick. That's when Sai asks Shido if that really was the best course of action he could take to ensure his goal. Shido changes his mind, coming up with some other plan thanks to Sai's advice. The whistle blows, and Shido makes a fake outrun, leaving the kick to Sai, who delivers a curler to Shido. Predicting all this, Chigiri dashes at full speed to intercept the ball before it gets to Shido. However, he falls just an inch short as the ball reaches Shido, who, displaying his impressive dragon drive kick, smashes a goal into the top left corner. Assessing Chigiri's speed accurately as well as the position Shido would be in, Sai had not only been assessing everything, but also acting on it in the form of his perfect pass. Isagi realizes he would have to achieve something similar moving forward if he wished to score a goal as well. Suddenly, Chigiri collapses on the ground, having exerted himself too much on the field. His muscles start cramping. Simultaneously, Nico, whose ankle couldn't take it any longer, also drops down on the field in agony. Seeing how two of his players were unable to continue playing optimally, Ego decides it's finally time to call in the subs. Being away from soccer for so long due to his hiatus had really taken a toll on Chigiri's stamina, while Nico also laments not being able to keep going, even though the real game was only just starting. In order to rejuvenate the team's balance again, Ego brings in Ryo and Hiyori as the substitutes. Walking back to the stands, Chigiri is overcome with deep anguish and bitterness over his unfortunate situation, which Ego points out is the reality check of his weakness that he needed to work on moving forward. Ryo walks up behind Nagi, and the two share a few words of encouragement between each other. Isagi realizes that the next goal would shape the outcome of the game, and thus the time to make the appropriate adjustments was now. The game resumes, and Rin passes the ball to Hiyori right away. Bluelock's game plan, which relied on everything happening around Rin, was now going to change with Hiyori's introduction, since his ability to create stunning improvised passes would create new plays and strategies. Hiyori gets to it right away, passing the ball to Karasu through a narrow space. Karasu returns it back, and the short, quick exchanges between the two throw the opposition off. Taking advantage of this, Hiyori shoots a graceful curling pass over to Nagi, who quickly gets behind it but gets interrupted by Doberman. Forced to pass it along, Nagi sends the ball over to the guy desperate for a chance at glory, Isagi. Isagi lunges at the ball at full throttle, but Aiku drops in all of a sudden and clears the ball from Isagi's clutches. Even though he moved first, Isagi gets beat to the ball by Aiku and his superior agility, reminding Isagi he wouldn't be able to do anything in Aiku's territory. The ball ends up with Sei, and Bluelock straightaway anticipates a pass to Shido. Ryo, who had up till now been studying the opposing team's defense and tactics, was brought into the game by Ego specifically to lock Shido up. Ryo analyzes Shido and Sei's movements and waits for his chance, until finally he leaps, and by copying Aiku's signature defensive move flawlessly with up to 99% accuracy, Ryo successfully stops this dangerous-looking counter. With the help of his chameleon defense, Ryo vows to bring Shido down, no matter what. The episode kicks off with another look at Ryo's outstanding defense against Shido by using his chameleon, aka copycat, defense. Both Hirori, who with his unique and exploratory passes, and Ryo with his amazing move-mimicking ability, had proven that both of the substitute choices that Igo had made were on the mark. Isagi eyes down his target, Aiku, the biggest thorn in his side, who he must overcome in order to make an impact on the game as he wanted. Enthralled by the way Sai was making him play, Shido gets giddy about how much more he could do as Sai tells him to settle down and focus on scoring goals. Tactics and teamwork were all irrelevant to someone like Shido, whose sole aim in the game was to sustain himself by scoring multiple goals. His game perception was so tuned in advance that even with his back turned to the goal, he could still aim as if he were facing it. The whistle blows, and the game continues. Shido gets the ball, and with every cell in his body quivering to score, Shido begins his run, but gets blocked by Ryo right away. Ryo had copied under-20s Doberman's blocking style near to perfection and successfully managed to subdue Shido as a result. To human beings, existence was an act of leaving behind something that would leave a mark of their presence, whether it be some creation, becoming someone, or even creating offspring. For Shido, the mark he wanted to leave behind was in soccer. Using a weird analogy, Shido considers scoring fertilization, where the soccer ball was the seed, the goal was the egg, and scoring was the explosion that facilitated it. Sai makes a long-range pass over Bluelock's defense, and Shido darts after it, hungry to score another goal. However, Gagamaru, acting quickly, heads it clear over Shido. Shido frustrates over this unlucky play for a moment, and then suddenly, everything becomes still for him. As if the ball was still with him, Shido feels tingling in every crevice on his body, as he starts feeling like he could see a goal this far out from the goal. Shido then takes flight, as if the devil with his wings, and with a stunning mid-air bicycle kick, blows everyone's minds off by scoring the goal that takes Japan under-20 ahead of Bluelock on the scorecard. Igo recognizes this strange state Shido had entered immediately. It was the flow state. Ironically, the first one to exhibit it was on the enemy side. Shido jumps atop Sai right after scoring his stunner, acknowledging him for getting him in the state he was. Sai quickly slams Shido on the ground like a taekwondo black belt and tells him to score a hat trick before becoming so chummy with him. Meanwhile, Isagi looks in disbelief and envy over what Shido had just managed to accomplish, the flow state that he had so desperately been chasing after all game. Sai and his challenging passes had pushed Shido up to a point where he had to enter the flow state, and he did just that. Back at the stands, Henri expresses her concerns with Igo about the direction in which the match was heading and asks for his plans moving forward, to which Igo replies he has none. However, before she could reply, she got cut off by Isagi, who was there to ask for Igo's guidance in their tough spot. Igo tells Isagi that Bluelock had already won. He elaborates that, with the performance they had put up tonight, Shido and Rin had basically cemented a spot on the Japanese national team already, while all the other skilled players who had shown their worth in different ways were also going to be picked up by big-name universities and domestic leagues. None of that mattered to Isagi, however, because to him and his team, the future wasn't as important as winning right here and now. And so Isagi, brimming with ego, orders Eigo to guide them with a plan that would help ensure that. Eigo gets convinced and puts his final plan into action, which was to sub in Baru. Baru enters the game as the final sub for Bluelock, replacing Otoya. Everything that had happened so far went just as Eigo had planned, although even he couldn't predict just how fired up his team would be to win. Isagi plans to drive Baru into his strong zone to increase his chance of scoring while also trying for it himself. The game resumes, and Hiyori passes the ball to Isagi. Hayate tries to steal it, but gets beaten to it by Baru, who had been acting on the tactic Eigo had given him, devouring Isagi. Baru tears through enemy defense as he finesses Darai using his chop dribble. Isagi demands the ball from Baru, but Baru refuses and blasts the ball towards the goal. It hits the post with a loud bang and rebounds over to Yukimiya. Realizing it's now or never, Yukimiya quickly shifts into fifth gear as he dazzles through opposing defenses using his pace and dribbling. Using his opponent's bodies as cover, he executes a flawless demonstration of the La Croqueta at full speed. He then pinpoints his target on the goal, but the Doberman gets in his way. Thinking quickly, Yukimiya then picks a spot on the left and shoots the ball outward. It appears as if it's going to miss when suddenly it starts curling in aggressively. Yukimiya wonders if he was experiencing the flow state as his gyro shot seemed unstoppable. Then, out of nowhere, a flying Aiku clears it at the last second, stunning everyone. Isagi and Bluelock look on in disbelief over what he just pulled, while Aiku, feeling as if his defensive eyes could spot any danger, starts exhibiting flow state characteristics himself. Stay connected, like and subscribe for more fun recaps on One and Only Endless Recaps.